Vande Matram, welcome to Sanatana. We all know that the Kumbh Mela has begun in Prayagraj, and this time it is the Maha Kumbh Mela that comes every 144 years. Literally a once in a lifetime opportunity to be blessed. Let us learn the historical and cultural significance of Kumbh Mela, where today we see pilgrims across the world and from different nationalities are attending to find eternal bliss and moksha. The Puranic and local references of Kumbh Mela comes from Samudra Manthan story in our Puranas, where a kumbh or a kalash or a pot of amrut emerged from the churning of the oceans. We have references for this from Skanda Puran, Bhagavat Puran, Vishnu Puran, and Itihasa like Mahabharatam. So, coming from those Puran, we see that there was a battle for this Amruta Kumbh between Devas and Asuras, and a few drops of Amrut fell at 4 locations: Prayagraj, Haridwar, Ujjain, and Nasik. The 4 places where we see Kumbh Mela happening. We sometimes are not able to find the exact references in recent print of these Puranas, but it is still passed on from generations to generations. Vishnu Puran also talks about Lord Garuda bringing this Amruta Kalash to Sri Mahavishnu and is encountered by Bhagavan Indra, and a few drops of Amrut fell at these locations during their quarrel. Another Puranic reference talks about Lord Garuda bringing Amrita Kalash to Kadru, who made his mother Vinata a slave as a result of a bad bet. Garudji is said to have rested in these 4 places during his journey. Hence, these 4 places with sacred rivers see Kumbh Mela being organized. Now, apart from the Puranas, the Bharatiya culture and civilization always had a practice of nature worship and worshipping rivers. We always see great civilizations prosper near rivers, and hence the rivers have that respect. That's the culture and beauty of Sanatana Dharma. So, whether it is the Triveni Sangam of Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati, or the other divine rivers, we Hindus gather and offer our prayers and gratitude to nature. We also see this culture across Puranas, ancient Indian history, and even in the common era historic period. Bharatiya festivals have always had a logic behind them. Unlike the logicless Gregorian calendar that calls the 12th month of their year Deka, December, meaning 10, we base our observations on astronomy and seasonal changes and weather. We have seasonal foods in form of prasadam that helps us sustain during that weather and climatic changes. Let us now explore what Khagola Shastra says about Kumbh Mela and how it is weaved through the Puranas. During the 12-day battle for the Amrita Kalash between Deva and Asuras, Bruhaspati, Surya Deva and Chandra Deva have protected the Kalash from spilling and breaking. The 12 days here refer to the godly years, which is one Daivik day being 1 year for us humans. And according to the Khagola Shastra, it takes 12 years for Bruhaspati or Guru to do one revolution around the sun. That is why we celebrate Kumbh Mela once in 12 years. Then, the locations are decided by the constellation and planetary positions of Sun, the Moon and the Bruhaspati. Remember, when we say Sun enters a Rashi, we need to understand that it is how we observe the Sun moving near the constellation from Earth. And not that the scriptures mean that Sun is actually rotating around the planet or something. It looks like the Sun is traveling when we see from our vantage point, being Earth. So, when Bruhaspati enters Kumbh Rashi and Sun enters Mesh Rashi, Kumbh Mela is organized at the banks of Ganga in Haridwar. When Bruhaspati enters Mesha Rashi and Sun and the Moon enter Makar Rashi, Kumbh Mela is organized at the Triveni Sangam of Prayagraj. When Bruhaspati enters Simha Rasi, the Kumbh is organized at the banks of river Godavari at Nasik. And when Bruhaspati enters Simha Rasi and the Sun enters Mesa Rashi, Kumbh is organized at the banks of Kshipra river at Ujjain. Both these Kumbh are known as Singhastha Kumbh, referring to the Simha Rasi. Both Haridwar and Prayagraj organize Kumbh once in every 6 years, making them Ardha Kumbh Melas. And Prayagraj also organizes it every 1.5 year, making it a Magha Mela. The one that we are seeing today is happening after 11 Kumbh Melas have happened and is occurring once in every 144 years. A simple 12 iterations of Kumbh, to be very specific. Let me share a beautiful explanation of Kumbh my Guru gave me. All our lives are like the flow of rivers, where our heart is a Kumbh And when a Brihaspati or a Guru enters your heart to guide you, it becomes a Kumbh Mela and we are guided towards moksha. We need to remember one more thing. Kumbh Mela is not limited to Nadi Snan and holy dips. We have many sadhus, yogis and gurus gathering at Kumbh and sharing their knowledge. They organize food and prasad. They organize debates and discussions about Shastras and Sanatana Dharma. They share the new knowledge and observations of culture and Shastras and guide the future generations. So it is a beautiful blend of spirituality, divinity, nature worship and knowledge. It is a grand stage for Hindu unity and Dharmic Chaitanya, the Dharmic awakening we Hindus definitely need today. At the Kumbh Mela, we specially see groups of Naga sadhus. Few half-brained cunning Western media portray them as uncivilized and backward to spread their anti-Hindu narrative. But these Naga sadhus are the example of both Shastra knowledge and Shastra knowledge, both knowledge and armed front of Dharma, to spread knowledge and protect Dharma with weapons against invaders. So the sadhus that were formed to raise weapons are called akhadas. These groups are called akhadas. We have 2 videos on how Naga sadhus went to war against the Islamic invaders and defeated their Mlecha armies to protect Kashi and Vrindavan. Please do watch those videos. They are in Telugu. Their link will be at the end of the video and also in the description. Just to remember for those who can't speak Telugu, the Naga sadhu armies have defeated invading Islamic armies that were targeting the destruction of temples, and they have protected Kashi Vishwanath temple and Vrindavan temple at different occasions with their lives. Such is the brave glory of Naga sadhus. We also have some shameless movies, celebrities and ads only talking about kids missing during Mela, and sadly that's the maximum thinking capacity or maybe 0.5 milligrams of brain God has granted them. But Kumbh Mela is a great sangam of spirituality and unity. And the Maha Kumbh Mela or these melas near rivers have been as old as our civilization across thousands and thousands of years. The Agni Purana has Prayaga Mahatyam. In it, it called Prayag as the Raja of these melas and talks about this mela and river worship. We also see Gautama Buddha telling that it is not just enough to dip in the holy water, we also need to keep our actions pious. Though we see Buddha critiquing the traditions, we can see that this tradition has been there before Gautama Buddha. The reason I am sharing this is currently India is in a very sad state that we Hindus need to prove that the Sanatana Vedic Hindu Dharma existed before Buddha, because many political elements are using the name of Buddha to create divide among Indians and Hindus. That's a story for another day anyways. Coming back to Kumbh, historians tell that Kumbh Mela was organized during Gupta rule also, and they refer Prayagraj Kumbh for this. We also have Huan Tsang, the Chinese scholar traveler who visited Bharat between 629 to 645 Common Era, talking about a grand and large Mela being organized at Ganga, where innumerable sadhus and gurus come together offering prayers to Ganga. He noted that this is organized after every 5 years and had many gatherings, discussions and debates. He wrote that the king Harshavardhana organized grand programs and gifted valuables to people. If we come a bit ahead in time towards the cruel Mughal rule, we see references to Kumbh Mela in Aine Akbari. It says that the Hindus considered Prayagraj as very pious and divine. They organized a Mela near Sangam. We also see the similar references in Tabaqat-e Akbari about Magha Mela. A book called Khulasat Tutwari, which describes the rule of cruel Mlecha Aurangzeb, also talks about Kumbh Mela in Haridwar. It says that this is organized based on the planetary observations, and a similar description is also seen in Chahar Gulshan. There is one more very important reference from the Jhansi Gazette. It talks about the time period of 1751 where Ahmad Shah Bangaj captured Awadh Nawab Safdarjung and was trying to capture Prayag fort. It was the time of Kumbh Mela and thousands of Naga sadhus gathered at Prayag. They prayed to the Sangam and then formed an army and defeated Ahmad Shah to protect Prayagraj. Such is the bravery of our great Naga sadhus. That is precisely why Kumbh Mela has been and will always be an important aspect of Hindu unity and Dharmic Chintan, especially in this time and day where Hindus continue to sleep in their own secular world. That is why we still see many communist, anti-Indian and anti-Hindu media and politicians trying to spread false information about Kumbh Mela. And we also see few saying that Hindus do only himsa and only sinners go to Kumbh Mela. They will try to do their best to keep Hindus divided on useless basis like caste, just like how their psychological gods and parents, the colonial British, planted this to divide us. But in those large gatherings that can be seen through satellite imagery, we only see an ocean of Hindus and only one Hindu identity without any Varna, Jati or the European caste. These anti-Indian and anti-Hindu forces are simply scared of Hindu unity. It is then and also now, I mean during the Itihasic period or now today, only the Rakshasas are afraid of Jai Sri Ram. In the next video, we'll see how religious fanatic invaders and colonizers like Akbar and the British tried to stop Kumbh Mela, and how post-independence political parties have tried to disgrace the Kumbh Mela and the Hindu unity it creates. These people who loot Hindu temples to fund their appeasement politics talk about how much money is being invested into Kumbhs, and they do not have enough brains to understand the revenue it generates, which we shall cover in the next video. Their mentality comes from their mental slavery and bootlickery they do to the cruel invaders and colonizers who they consider as their own saviors and soul fathers. I hope you all have understood the historical significance and importance of Kumbh Mela and why it is even more important today. Share it with your friends and family to help us reach more people with the knowledge of Bharatiya culture and unite all the Hindus. Like, share and subscribe to Sanatana Vajra. We'll meet in the next video. Until then and forever, Jai Sri Ram, Jai Bharat.